Today's March 22nd. The roster is taking shape. Griffin sent down password, said we're going to talk all about it, guys. This is the 2026 season preview episode. It's going to get hot. It's going to get fun. You're listening to the Bridge to Buctober podcast. Yins, guys. Thank you for listening to the Bridge to Buctober podcast, where we talk all about them Pittsburgh Pirates and that. My name is Josh. His name is Jake. What's up, Jake?
How are we doing today, bud? You ready for this?
Are we ready for this? No. Are you ready for this?
I was born ready.
Woo. This is the annual Hot Takes.
Annual
Hot Takes and Predictions show on hand. We get a lot of questions leading up to this through spring training and even before spring training. Where do you have this team? How many wins are they going to have? Where do you stand? And we never let it go. We never throw it out there until this one, huh?
This is where we do it.
This is exciting. And I think every year we do this, we do it just a little bit different. But we've got, obviously, we're going to react to a couple things that happened this week. Sometimes you get to talk about what roster moves you think, and sometimes what roster moves just happened, and this one is the latter. So we're going to talk about a little bit about that, but try to keep it short and get into all this stuff. But I don't know, man. This is an opportunity for us to, let's say, like, we're going to do our predictions of who's going to win the divisions and all that stuff, specifically our division. We're going to focus a lot on that. But we're going to do that. We're going to put those things out there. And those ones, like, we put a lot of thought into. But before that, we're going to do our hot takes. Now, we have two different degrees of hot, right?
Yep. We got our mild.
Yep.
And our wild. So
mostly because they rhyme, but you can think of it as, hey, these are hot takes. They're mild. They're not going to be anything crazy. You're not going to think that we're nuts. But they got to be hot. Like I challenged Jake a little bit because we were like maybe being a little too safe on there. And we were like, you know what? These still need to be hot. They can't be like no duh stuff. Like, we can't bring a hot take in here saying Paul Skeens is going to win a Cy Young. That's not a hot take anymore. You know what I mean? That's just a take. And then there's the wild takes. And if you guys judge us based on the wild takes, then I don't think you understand what we're doing when we do our wild takes, because they are intentionally wild. They're supposed to be like, I don't think this is going to happen, but it could. It is within the realm of possibilities, but I would not put money on it. I guess that's a good one. The mild takes I'd put money on. The wild takes, not a chance. Unless it's a cheap or a deal or whatever. So I will say that, I'm going to have some work to do to come up with my last two, because I'm too short right now of...
Yeah,
I got a lot of things thinking of, but like my milds, I'm a little too short on delivering here. So maybe I'll get there as we talk through some things. But let's check and see who's in the chat. We love our live show. We love our chat here. We got a lot of smart people who join in. Martin's in here. What's up, Martin? Pit City what? Miles. Ben is fired up for this episode nearly as much as opening day. This is for whatever reason, this is just one of those episodes in the year that's like, this is the last chance that we get to be like truly hopeful, I guess. Because then we're just calling the shots and we're reacting to what happens and all that stuff. So, it's all those things. Martin was in Bradenton, by the way. So that's really cool. Pitt City What says cautiously optimistic. It is great. Cheryl's out here. Doug, I said Doug, I think. Greg's out there. He's been limiting his Pirates pods lately. Don't want to get burned out early. If this team delivers on what they're saying they're going to, I think we're going to welcome the burn, I think, a little bit. I think that's another play on hot. I don't know. So Greg's already got a hot take out there, so we're going to save that a little bit. Greg, if that goes away, we're going to need you to pull that back. I like Seth. Seth's out there. He's got a hot take. Let's react to OG says smart people, also me. OG, honestly, you're on my smart list, so don't try to back out of that. Giga's out there. All right, it's good chat. We got a good group of people here. I trust that we're not going to be being told that we're stupid tonight.
Maybe.
All right, Connor Griffin sent down to the minor league camp to start the season with Indy. This is obviously a big thing. This is the thing we were watching for the whole time. We can talk about right or wrong decision. Like I said, we're going to try to make this quick. Right or wrong decision?
I think it's the right move.
I think we're getting rain.
Wow. I unfortunately think it's the right move. It's not what I wanted to see. But ultimately you have to come up with results at some point. So
here's what I'll say. Yeah. What I'll say on that is spring training, because I had a lot of conversations like, oh, spring training's meaningless. I think spring training is meaningless for a guy like Brandon Lau.
Mm-hmm.
For Brandon Lau, I want to physically get where I need to be to start the season. I'd like to see my timing get on, but ultimately I need to be ready physically for the season. And the reason we say that is because he has years of major league time that we can look back at and say, here's the track record. This is what this guy does.
Yeah.
And so I don't need to think about what you're doing in spring training, right? I would even say the same for Brian Reynolds, Ozuna, O'Hearn even, who's kind of on that like fringe, but he's definitely been around. He knows what he's doing. He had a good spring, but you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
For a young player, specifically Connor Griffin, who has 1 year under his belt, right? But for a young player, you have nothing else to go off of. So you do look at numbers in spring training. I could say the same thing about Justinson Garcia, who we're going to talk about for a minute. He had a great spring, and that means something. He made that decision hard.
Yeah.
And like I said, well, I had a short this week just basically talking about him and saying like, it's a roster spot for him. It's playing time for him. That's not the same problem that Connor Griffin has. He has playing time available right here.
Yeah.
I think for him, I think that it is quite literally like we've seen some struggle with the fastball in spring. We didn't see that struggle last year.
Right.
And you can say what you want about, well, but those pitchers were different. But I'm talking about specifically 95 plus.
Which he sees in the minor leagues.
He sees in the minor leagues and he hit it just fine. And he's not quite there yet this season. I went and watched him a couple different times. And I'm telling you, Jake, I watched him go 0 for 2 one game and he still looked like the best player on the field. Because you can see that.
Yeah.
And you can see the loud outs and the things like that will come around. You just don't start a guy when he's not quite going. And you saw a couple strikeouts ticking up at the end where he looked like he was pressing because those 105 line outs were starting to get to him, it looked like. Let's let him hit the ground running in Indy and call him up. I think.
Yeah.
Is it best for the team? I think he's probably your best option right now to play short. And I think a lot of people are stuck on that. I don't want to downplay that. He's probably still your best option for shortstop. However, long term, best for the team and for the player to start him in Indy. And I wish it wasn't that way, but like that's what happened. You got to earn things, man.
Yeah, you can't serve it on a silver platter. Like you got to actually get some results. Like I said before, you can hit the ball 105, but if it's not falling, it's not falling. Let's go get hot. and then hit the majors.
So the last thing I'll talk about here, and I'm trying to look and see if anybody's asking this question, but obviously prospect promotion incentive is on the line. If he doesn't start opening day, we don't get our PPI draft pick, right? Maybe. 172 days of service time. There's 187 days in the season. They've got like 15 days-ish, right? I don't know what the actual thing is. Essentially 2 weeks to call him up and preserve the PPI draft pick if he wins Rookie of the Year. If he doesn't win Rookie of the Year, though, that's it. It's over. This is the way I understand it. I will, obviously, as always, Ethan Houlihan is a guy that we trust with all this stuff, and he can correct me if I'm wrong. But if you don't make the opening day roster, specifically opening day roster, but you come up in order to get the 172 days, the PPI draft pick remains, okay? It's still there. They can get it if he wins Rookie of the Year. If he's on opening day and gets 172, that goes further. Until you're an arbitration player, next year he could be top 3 MVP and you'd get that draft pick if he doesn't win Rookie of the Year this year. Once you get the draft pick, there's not another draft pick. So it's gone. So there is still a chance that if he wins Rookie of the Year this year and he comes up in the first 2 weeks, that they do get that draft pick. Also, if they sign him to a long-term deal before he debuts, that draft pick goes away as well. So if you're wondering why this contract isn't done, if you think they care about, Ethan said, I'll be in for the next 15 minutes. So there we go. That's kind of where I'm sitting. And so PPI awards can happen in subsequent years for MVP Cy Young, but not only if you make the opening day roster, right, OG? That's the way I understood it. The verbiage I saw, and I'll read this and then we'll move on to the next guy. Players with little or no MLB service time need to break camp with the team or be called up within 2 weeks of opening day. Then they must spend all or most of the year in the big leagues. They must either win their league's Rookie of the Year or place in the top 3 of MVP or Cy Young, which I feel like if you did that, you're probably winning Rookie of the Year.
Yeah.
But then the second thing is players who made an opening day roster and accrued the service time but didn't factor in any awards that year retain PPI eligibility. They need to place in the top 3 MVP or Cy Young before hitting arbitration, which if you have a guy you called up that early, that's likely this year or next year because he's going to be a Super 2 player.
Yeah.
So it will it's until you get to arbitration. So I think, and I could be wrong about this, but I think the only way that it moves on to next year is if you're on the opening day roster. But it doesn't mean that we're getting rid of that for this year. So
right.
There we go. We have it. Hey, Alika was also assigned to minor league camp. Was you surprised about that?
No, I was excited about that.
He would provide defensive upside late in the game.
He would, but there's just no other upside for it.
Yeah.
There is upside for the other guys that did make the team.
Yeah, well, Billy Cook is the other option. And I think that he has the same role except in the outfield. Yeah,
but I think I would feel better about him getting an at-bat than Alika Williams.
All right. Password optioned. I talked about this on the short. Did you have any thoughts to add on to that?
Not really. I mean, there's just not a spot for him, and he needs to play every day.
Mm-hmm. He'll come up if there's an injury to any of those outfielders or Spencer Horwitz. Mm-hmm. I imagine, because then O'Hearn can go to first, but I imagine he gets the call up and goes right into the starting rotation or starting lineup. Is the way
the only
I would
one
say.
The only one that would be interesting for me would be if Cruz went down, because Mangum's going to have to go to center.
Garcia can play center. Yeah, he might be as good as Mangum.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I'm saying? And I would keep Mangum in that 4th outfield spot. And bring Password right up and put him in the starting lineup. I wouldn't be opposed to Mangum being the guy.
Yeah.
But I'm not bringing Garcia up to be a 4th outfielder.
That's where I was at. That's what would be interesting would be what they would do if they decided to go Mangum in center.
Mm-hmm.
Because you wouldn't bring him up. You wouldn't bring Garcia up to sit the bench.
Doug says Alika has serious power, though.
Yeah, power to strike out.
Miles says Billy Cook, claps
Yeah.
to Billy Cook and Nick York for working hard and sticking to it. That's a good thing. Nick York could be one of those guys who forces himself to play more. I really do like him as a player.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, me too.
Okay, Ethan's getting it here. If you qualify, there's no difference. The opening day thing. So if he qualifies, if he's called up in the next 2 weeks, that does carry over into next year. Thank you, Ethan. I really appreciate you getting to that when I said it, because the way I'm reading that, and that's straight from MLB, I'm like, dude, that looks like you have to make the opening day roster. So I appreciate it. He's catching up. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. Murray Gong, back from the Grand Canyon.
Hooray.
Hey,
that picture was awesome. He sent in the group chat.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so where are we at now? Also option Rafael Flores Jr., Cam Sanders, Tyler Callahan. No surprises there. Billy Cook's the guy. I think we covered it all. I think it's time to get into this active roster and who we have and who we're taking. There's one pitcher spot, right, that we're still left with. But other than that, our catchers are Henry Davis, Joey Bart. No surprises there, right?
Right.
Infield is Horwitz, Lau, Gonzalez, Trio, and York. And if I read that in order, it would actually be Horwitz, Lau, Triolo, Gonzalez. Did I say Trio before that too?
Yeah, you did.
I figured it felt like it after I said it the second time. I was like, I think that's what I said. Anyway, it seems like Triolo's getting the bulk of the time at shortstop, but they're going to move some guys around. What do you think of that? Because my first take is like the gap between Triolo and Gonzalez at third base is huge. The gap between Gonzalez and Triolo at shortstop is very much smaller. I would prefer to go with the huger gap and get the much better third baseman. But I think you had a little bit of a different point on there that I think is good.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the way I probably would have done it myself, but I can see after I thought about it a little bit, if we're expecting to get Connor Griffin up and expecting Connor Griffin to take over shortstop, I think most of us are probably expecting Nick Gonzalez to hit better than Jared Triolo. And if he's hitting and Triolo's not, then Gonzalez at third, nobody has to move when Connor Griffin comes up. Instead of sliding Gonzalez from short to third at that point, he's already at third. Now, if Triolo's hitting and Gonzalez isn't, there's no big deal sliding Triolo over to third.
No, he'll be fine.
That's his comfort zone. He's fine. We know he can play that. And similarly, because you do have that third possibility, Nick York is going to get some time playing third base. And if he's the one that's winning the spot, then he's going to be at third as well. So yeah. I just see there's not as many moving pieces with Triolo at short. I think Triolo has the potential, there is a possibility there that he could win and hit better. But I think that I would put money on Gonzalez hitting better. So
okay,
that's kind of where I'm at. Less moving parts when Griffin does come up and take over.
Yeah. Outfield, Cruz, Reynolds, O'Hearn, Mangum, Billy Cook, DH, Ozuna. I don't like ever listing DH. I would typically just say that Ozuna's an outfielder who won't play outfield. But in this situation, it is truly, he's a DH.
He's a DH.
We do have our rotation, Jake. Skeens, Keller, Majinski, the number 3 guy, Braxton Ashcraft, Bubba Chandler. How much do you like that decision?
It's interesting. I think that my first take on it, almost everything that's come out right now, I've had first and second takes, right? my first take was like, oh, that's interesting putting Majinski above Ashcraft and Chandler. Like I was thinking he'd be our 5th guy.
Yeah.
But then as me and you were talking about what it lines up with just to start the season, that means you're going to have, possibly you're looking at Ashcraft, Chandler, and Skeens going against Cincinnati. And I like going in there with the possibility of taking all 3 games.
And you want to put your best foot forward in a divisional game like that. Mitch Keller, the guy who's been there for a long time and grinded through all this, gets the home opener. I like that. I think the opening day is a big nod for anyone. I think the home opener can be reserved for that sort of thing. I really like that Keller's the guy there. The only thing is Cheryl, it should be Keller there for the home opener. Unless they try to do something different. We don't know who gets that last pitcher spot and what they might do with that Wednesday game in Cincinnati, but I assume they go Skeens. And I assume they try to specifically, they're going to have to set it ahead of time, but you'd hate to be split and then go with a spot start because, if you're 1-1, you want to win that series on the road. You want your best chance to win that series on the road. So the only thing about the Majinski start is that you have Nolan McLean going for the Mets. And so you're saying man, that could be a rubber match. And McLean, Bubba, the rookies kind of going at it would be a really cool matchup too. But man, Carmen Majinski's different this year.
Yeah.
I really like the splitter. The curveball's in there too, but the splitter to me, I actually do want to see it. I think he was their best option to start the season in the rotation. I'm not a big Clevenger guy. Don't like what I've seen as much as some, but I do know, I haven't liked Urquidy at all. Barco I have, but I don't know what they're doing with them. So as far as that last spot, let's talk Urquidy, Clevenger, Barco. One of them is going to be in that long relief role. As Martin asks, what do you got? Urquidy can be optioned, but he has to agree to it. Barco can be optioned. Clevenger's not on the roster, which means somebody's got to go if you make the move for Clevenger.
Yeah, it's interesting. And I'm going to be honest. I'm glad I'm not in the position to make that choice. I don't think there's a great option no matter what. It's hard to think.
Can I ask why not Barco? Why isn't Barco a great option?
Because it's I don't really want Barco to be a long relief guy. I want him for depth as our starting pitching. So I want him starting games.
Sure.
I don't want him in the bullpen. I think he's a guy that could help us down the stretch.
So if Urquidy agrees to a send down, then he's an option to get starts. If you're talking if there's an injury or something, you also have Thomas Harrington who could come up for a little while and give you spot starts. There's two other guys down there that, obviously I don't think they're ready quite yet, but Antoine Kelly and Wilbur Dotel, who could start if you absolutely needed him to. And then if Clevenger does accept or whatever contract options or whatever he has, if he's there and there's an injury, you could bring him in if he's starting. And what I would like about that is then if it's a point in the season where you need, where Barco's just not stretched out anymore, then you have the option to send him down at that point, stretch him out, and get him back. If it's going to be a longer term injury or something like that. You know what I'm saying? And so I do think that I would like that for the main fact that I've liked what I've seen from Barco. And I think that, if there's a Ashcraft Chandler, we're trying to be a little bit careful with innings, then I think there's going to be an option to use him more often. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting. New pitching coach, as Doug says, it'll be interesting to see how Murphy handles the situation. Don Kelly, we haven't really seen a lot of this where we're going into a season with plans. Eager to see how he handles this type of stuff. If I had to pick right now, just based on what I think will happen, I think they could start off the season with Urquidy because it's the easiest thing to do, and then pivot whenever they need to. And I don't know if that's the best thing to do, but it's certainly the easiest.
It's the easiest, yeah.
Unless you're just saying Clevenger or Urquidy's gone, because then he's off the 40 man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. I think if you pick Clevenger, I think Urquidy's the one that gets canned.
And that would be interesting.
Yeah. I'm glad I'm not making the call.
Yeah, for sure. And you know what? If you were making the call, you'd be around these guys a little bit more often. You'd have a better idea of what they're doing, right?
If I'm making the call, I think I'm with you. I think, I'd probably go Barco.
Yeah.
And just let it play out.
Yeah. If it was my call, I think that's the way I'd go too. I want to try to get the most guys I can up there that give me a chance to win. And I know that's kind of a little bit counterproductive to the Connor Griffin thing, but Connor Griffin for me is so much of a difference maker, a lot like Garcia can be. And so I want to make sure I'm doing right for the player and for the team long term. And I just don't think pitching that's not bad for Barco long term. Get him in the show. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Not everybody has to be, pitching wise. Not every starter has to start in the starting rotation.
Right.
That's fair.
All right. Do you want to get into our takes now? We've got some mild takes. So here's what I want from everybody in the chat too. Give me yours. Now we're going to start off with the mild variety. So we don't want to go too crazy. So I'm not really sure. We had a couple takes early on and they're already disappearing from my chat screen. See, we only get so many. Oh, no. Here we go. I'll go Seth. Well, let's just share Seth's right out of the gate. Hot take number 1, Matson gets 10 plus saves.
Ooh.
You think that's mild or you think that's wild?
That might be wild.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. I mean, I like it. I like the take, but something's going to have to happen for him to get 10 plus opportunities.
Yeah, that's true. He might be is he the right-hander that's probably latest in the game? As far as back end goes, other than Santana, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, probably.
Maybe. Soto's 8th inning. I think most of the time you're thinking Matson probably getting some of that time. I'm not missing anyone, right? We didn't read off the bullpen. Justin Lawrence could be a guy that's probably in line with Matson that could get some of those opportunities. Johan Ramirez
has looked good, man.
Yeah. Isaac Matson, Mason Montgomery, Johan Ramirez, Justin Lawrence, Dennis Santana, Gregory Soto. That's the rest. We didn't read that bullpen off. That's my bad. Bullpens are people too. You know what I'm saying? And the other one, and I'll go, Greg, I'm going to put this under wild for sure, just so you have an understanding of where we are here. Marcell Ozuna finishes top 5 for NL MVP.
That's that's a wild take.
That's a wild take. But here's the thing. The thing about now, if I tell you you're crazy, that's even beyond wild.
Mm-hmm.
If the Pirates are somehow in this and he's a 40 homer guy, I could see something like that happening.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If they are in it down the stretch, all that kind of stuff, I could see something like that being crazy. So Giga Mosher says Andy Rodriguez will be getting the majority of the playing time at catcher by the end of June.
Oof.
Any Henry Davis truthers out there that want to
listen? I've been in on Andy this year a lot, but I don't know. I also have some stuff in here that we'll get to that I think will prevent that from happening. But I think he's in the majors. Yeah,
okay. By June?
I definitely think June's going to be tough, but maybe depends on what Bart comes out and does.
Miles says he had the same for Soto, the 10 plus saves. I'm guessing is what he's talking about.
I could maybe see that from somebody like our 8th inning guy. If Soto ends up being our 8th inning guy, because sometimes Santana's just not going to be available.
Well, the other thing about the righty lefty too, you might do a matchup where the best part of the lineup's coming up in the 8th, and you go Soto in the 9th or something like that, and he absolutely could get some saves that way.
Yeah.
Martin says Password hits his way into the starting lineup by May.
I just can't see it happening. There's just not a spot.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to bump O'Hearn, who they just acquired on a 2-year deal. Brian Reynolds, who might be the most solid of all the players that are here long term. Cruz with the upside that Cruz has. I don't think you're giving up on Cruz by May.
No.
So if it's an injury, did he really hit his way into the lineup? That's another
And
question.
I will say this. I wrote that in my mild take or in my wild takes, and I erased it because I'm just the more I think about it, it could happen, but it's just hard to see.
Yeah. So same wavelength.
Yeah.
Jared Triolo finishes the season with at least 3 F-WAR and is a league average hitter or better. OG.
Dropping it.
I'm going mild, Jake. I believe because of the defense.
That he can get to the 3?
That he can get there. And we've seen Jared Triolo. I'm going to go into one of my mild takes right here, okay?
Mm-hmm.
We've seen Jared Triolo in September. Been a good player a couple different times. August, September, right? What else has happened in August, in those August and September times? He had consistent playing time. I'm curious. And I think that Triolo could be a league average hitter with consistent playing time.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely
I don't think
possible.
it's much better than that.
Yeah.
But with the defense, would I take league average? Yeah, we weren't getting that out of Hayes. We could have. If it wasn't for the back thing, I really liked Hayes.
Yeah. Yeah.
If that back just isn't hurting, I like him as a hitter. He's been a clutch hitter. He clutches up. He's good with runners in scoring position when no one else on the team was. I don't know if Triolo's that, but I think maybe league average is not too crazy.
Yeah.
All right. I'm looking at yours because
I'll just throw this one out real quick.
Yeah.
I think Braxton Ashcraft surpasses 160 innings pitched this year.
Yeah, and I see that. We're getting hot now. I like this.
I think that he pushes the envelope because I think we're still in it, and I think he needs to pitch. So, I can see him. I can see him getting up to the 160 innings.
So, just for reference, 117 total innings between AAA and the major leagues last year. 118 innings between the two. So we got him jumping. Like I kind of got him sitting around 150 myself. So that's why I like that being hot. I like that. And I think that Ashcraft is going to surprise some people.
Yeah.
I think he's a stud.
Yeah,
all right.
I like him a lot.
All right. I'm going to take a couple more out of here because I'm going to save mine for a little bit longer here. We've got Doug Smith saying mild taco sauce take. Patented, I think, by Doug. Henry Davis gets Gold Glove votes.
I'm in it. I'm in on it.
Yeah. Jared Triolo will have a batting average of 160 on July 31st, says Greg. He's like, I heard enough about Triolo. Here's my take. Cheryl says trade Bart by June, which this is how Endy gets in place.
He's going to have to be a little bit better.
Yeah. Yep. I think this is pretty hot. Doug Smith says Mangum gets 25% of the center field time due to his defensive capability. I don't know if I could go that high.
Yeah, I don't think I could get that high. There's another reason for that coming up in a little bit too.
Sure. Miles says Reynolds has his best ever first half and is in trade rumors early. I like how you did the spin at the end there.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's good. Why don't you go with your one top on your list here?
Yeah. So I was trying to stay away from Skeens stuff, but I just can't.
Yeah.
I think Skeens goes 200 plus innings pitched, eclipses the 230 strikeouts. And what makes this hot, he's going to get past 20. He's going to get 20 or more wins this season. Josh, I was looking it up. This is my reasoning for saying the 20 wins. 55 starts. If he got league average run support at 4.5 runs, 41-3.
Right.
He's going to get league average run support this year. This offense is better. He went on a 16 start stretch where he had a 177 ERA and he went 2-7. That doesn't happen this year. That just doesn't happen. If he goes on a 16 start stretch at a 177, he's 14-2. He's getting decisions.
Yeah.
And 16 starts, if he goes 10-2 in that 16 stretch, he's halfway to 20 and he's got 16 more starts.
Yeah.
So I don't see a reason why he won't get to 20 wins.
Whew.
Not that anybody cares about starting pitcher wins.
I mean, I certainly don't. But that doesn't mean nobody does. Miles says he's got 17-6 for Skeens with a 2.12 to 2.17 ERA. I'm going to go mild take that you actually have him over a 2. We've never seen that.
His career ERA is like 197.
I mean, both years have been under a 2, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. That's pretty much of a hot take saying he's going to have a down year. 217. I'm kidding, obviously.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
Your reaction is crazy.
All right. So listen, I've brought this up before. I will bring it up again. And I think I actually have a legitimate shot at it this time.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a long time since the Pirates have had 4 guys. No, it's been never, right? I should have looked this up.
No, I think it's been a long time. No, I don't remember now. It's been so long since we looked that up.
Okay. There will be 4 different Pittsburgh Pirates that will reach at least 20 home runs this year. I'm writing it down. I've gone to this before. Years ago, I said there will be 3. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And we got there 1 year, but it was the year after I said it. And the year that they got to 3, I think I said 4. I can't remember. We had Kutch, Reynolds, and Cruz 1 year that all hit 20 homers. Okay. The year before that, that was 24. The year before that, oh wait, was it Cruz? I think so.
I don't think it was.
You don't think it was Cruz? Dang it, Bobby. Did I write it down?
It might have been. It might have been Cruz.
Listen. No, we didn't have 3. We have Reynolds, the only one. That's what I was saying, I think. Reynolds, the only one in 21 and 22. Reynolds and Swinski in 23. Reynolds and Cruz in 24. Yeah. I thought Kutch had it in 24. Did he get there?
I think he hit 19.
Cruz was the only one last year.
Yeah.
Okay. Track record tells me Brian Reynolds is like a 25 homer guy, right? We've seen that enough in this game. We know that he's capable of it. Very big down year last year, more protection this year, locking it in. He's got 20 home runs. Okay. Cruz has 20 home runs. I don't know why you would argue with me. He's had 20 home runs the last 2 years. 20 and 21, but again, more protection. He's like 35 pounds heavier. I just think that
dude's a monster.
I just think he's got it, right?
Yeah.
What are we talking about? How many years in a row has Brandon Lau had 20 home runs? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I should have actually, man, you know what I mean? Sometimes you come into this thing and you're like, I know exactly what I'm talking about.
He's hit 30 plus twice.
Yeah, but the last 3 years, 21, 21, 31. And the 221s were barely over 100 games. So if he plays 110 games, which is more than he had those 2 years, he's hitting 20 home runs. Okay. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And then there was a year that he played 65 games. The year before that, he had 39 home runs. So like if this guy plays 130 games, he's got 30 homers.
Yeah.
So locking him in,
and
he's got 20 home runs.
Speaking of 30, how many guys are going to hit 30?
Well, we got one more guy. I got to talk about 20, but that's a good point too. And Ozuna's the last one. He hit 40, 39, and then had a bad hip last year and still hit 21. The hip's fine, so locking in 20 home runs for Ozuna as well. Yeah. I think that's pretty fair.
Yeah.
And we're not even talking about O'Hearn, who hit 17 last year, who has a chance.
Yep.
Horwitz last year had the wrist problem early in the season. Second half, he hit 305 with 9 home runs.
Yeah.
So I don't think Horwitz can get to 20. But let's say
second
Horwitz
half is shorter.
Right. But I'm saying
So-
I don't think that he gets to 20, but like the 2 times he's had short stints, he's hit 9 and 12 home runs in less than 100 games. So I think that there's a chance that Horwitz even shows up somewhere on the list. But there, I think there's 20 and, maybe one more guy too jumps into that party to get to the 20.
Yeah.
Who knows how many, that's a serious team.
Yeah.
And you said 30 and, you're looking at Ozuna and Lau probably inside track on 2 guys that should hit 30 if they play enough games.
Yeah.
So maybe 2 guys hit 30. Maybe Cruz jumps into the 30 party, which, okay, we're getting that's a little on the wild side there.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'll go with my last mild take here. And I thought about this for a minute and I think this is so possible. Jake Mangum is just electric in the dugout, and he brings us our best home run celebration gimmick yet. I don't know what it is because he's going to bring it, but I'm here for it. I'm waiting for it.
By not hitting home runs, you have to be the guy that comes up with the home 100%. Run gimmick. I like that you called it a gimmick.
Yeah, he's going to have some. He's got some time. He'll be the 4th outfielder. He'll be getting in late in games, but he'll have some time to cook up something good. He's also been on the receiving end already of one. I don't want to call it a practical joke, but he got the birthday cake in the locker room with the pirate, the treasure chest and stuff. Like it looked like a treasure chest and all that stuff. So I think he's going to be here for some fun too. So I look for him to be that guy in the dugout that ends up bringing us our best celebration yet.
Hey, you remember when I was distracted and said, I think we're getting a storm? I heard it through my headphones.
Oh, nice. Hail. Nice.
Yeah, I think we had a storm.
Yeah. Yep.
No wonder I could hear it. Yeah.
That's
all right.
Great.
I just got that text. So Doug says Jones comes back as a long reliever and plays an important role in the second half. I like that. And I think eventually, we just talked about Braxton Ashcraft and innings and all that stuff. I think eventually he is back in the rotation and has an opportunity to make some noise there.
Yeah.
Specifically, like I said, if down the stretch we're in this. All right, we're getting ready to go into our wilds now. Okay. Greg says hottest of hot takes. Let's see if we can get hotter than this. Henry Davis has a better offensive year than Will Smith.
That is a hot take.
Yeah, that's a hot take. Like, I'm not eating those wings.
Oh, that's good.
Woo. Miles says Jake Mangum jerseys lead sales. I think he's going to be well liked.
Oh yeah.
This is a guy. This is a guy for this team.
Yeah.
So
I'm going to jump into one of mine real quick because I'm going to piggyback off your home run stuff.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think this will be the year that Brian Reynolds, and I had this last year.
Yeah.
And I was way off. Couldn't be more off, but I think this is the year.
Don't jinx. I'm kidding. Go ahead.
I think this is the year he hits 30 bombs.
Okay.
I think he's going to be locked in from day one. I think he's going to see some more pitches that he's going to have a chance to hit because he'll have some more protection all the way through the lineup. I just see it, man. I can see it clicking.
All right. 30 homers for Brian Reynolds. Write it down, guys. These are the wild takes. And I said, like, these are things that we think are possible, but maybe a little unlikely.
Yeah.
Or they're just real hot.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go ahead and go with mine. I'll stick with some homer stuff because I got multiple things riding on this. Okay. Connor Griffin is called up before April 10th. So let's go back to one of the questions on here saying, how long do you think Connor will be in Indy? Cheryl asks. And then Greg says he hits 20 homers. Before April 10th, he retains the PPI eligibility. He wins Rookie of the Year or runner-up. No, this is a wild take. He wins Rookie of the Year, and he's on that list of 20-plus homers.
I can see it, man. I can see it.
I feel like the more I have seen the player, the biggest question is, will he be here before April 10th? Because if he is, I think you can lock up the 20 homers. Now, the Rookie of the Year depends on other players and how good they are. Mm-hmm. But it's a wild take, so I got to just say lock it in. We're going there.
Yeah, I like it. Sticking with homers.
Hold on, Miles is sticking with your Brian Reynolds take. Remember, he said he's going to start off hot. 22 before the All-Star break. That's Josh Bell numbers there.
Right. I'll say like 18 before the All-Star break. At 12 or 13 after.
Yeah, Martin, we usually do catch up with these and have a good laugh at the end of the year.
Yeah.
Specifically these. I think we'll take the next round of things a little more seriously. Those are the ones we'll actually check ourselves with. These are a lot of fun to do, but we do follow up with these for sure.
Yeah. I'm going to stick with the home run theme for this wild take.
Okay.
There have been 84 balls touch the Allegheny River. There have only been 6 that have landed in it on a fly.
Okay.
Cruz has one of those. Cruz is going to get 3 more this year.
3 of them.
3 of them. His launch angle is going to be better this year. He's going to be hitting 120 mile an hour cruise missiles into the Allegheny. Don't park your boats out there. They might get sunk.
Okay. All
right.
It's
wild, man. It's wild.
All right. Okay. By the way, Greg says, sounds like the Bucks could lead the NL in homers if all these wild takes come through. If all of them come through, I think there's a chance they're going to be up there. However, I think you'd be surprised when you start adding it up. Like, I think you'd be surprised the numbers of home runs because there are guys on other teams hitting 40 and 50 homers on some teams. You know what I mean? You think about the Phillies and the damage that they can do with Harper over 30 and Schwarber over 40, and you know what I mean? Others
Schwarber's
too.
Been over 50 for like 3 straight years.
I thought he had 47 last year.
Maybe. It's close
but still,
enough.
Close enough. He's close to 50. So yeah, but they could, right? So they could be up there. Like I said, that's like when we said, oh, there could be 6 guys with now we're talking. You got 6 guys with 20 homers, you're up there. But 4 guys with 20 homers, no, I think there's probably 5 or 6 teams that do that every year. The Dodgers might have 4 guys with 30 plus homers.
Yes, Martin. This is just Coke. Just Coke.
3 balls in the air. Hey, anybody in the chat want to go ahead and take their shot? Don't look it up. Take their shot of who the Pirates players are that have hit it on a fly in the Allegheny. Just the Pirates players, right? There's 2 visitors on that list of 6?
I think so.
5 players total. 2 visitors? Is that right? I'm missing the second visitor if that's the case. Let me think. Oh my gosh, Greg.
1 visitor. I think it's 4. And
oh yeah, because you're right.
There's
only
1
visitor.
2.
Ooh, that's a nice little number. Giga. Look at that. There's 1 more. So if anybody can get that last one, it's actually the only player with 2 of them. Garrett Jones was the first Pirate to do it. Pedro Alvarez was after him. O'Neal Cruz, Jake said, is one of them. There was 1 visiting player. There you go. Greg got it. The very first player to hit one in the fly, Darryl Ward, before he was a Pirate. or after he was a Pirate. I can't remember if his time with the Pirates before or after. But either way, Martin says Ward. I think he means their Ward, same thing. So there's one more Pirate, though. Yankees girl, 3 more days. Can't wait until Wednesday. So we've got some Wednesday. Is the Yankees open up on Wednesday? Maybe. I guess I didn't see that. Must have. I'm never changing my team. That's fine. That's fine.
Nothing wrong with that.
You got Bednar now, so we'll at least,
Yeah.
You got the Yinzer on your team. All right, we'll leave that out there if anybody can throw it out there. Don't look it up. Keep throwing some guesses out there. I'll go with another one of mine here. I got this is the Wilds, right, Jake? And I think if the Pirates are in it, they're going to acquire a reliever and a third baseman in July. A reliever and a third baseman, both in July, trade deadline time. I just said July, but because they don't have to be at the deadline. I don't want to be held to that. But around the deadline, they're going to be aggressive and in a race to a point where they acquire another relief pitcher now that they got rid of Kyle Nicholas. But it should be like a back end type guy. Like it's going to take something, you know what I mean? Yeah. And a third baseman. And the third baseman one was like, it's not wild unless I throw 2 different players in there. Like a reliever, that's easy. They can get a reliever.
Yeah.
But specifically a reliever and a third baseman. And I think that's going to be an impact player.
I'm hoping that our third base isn't a hole if we're in it.
But if you're going to say one position, knowing that like Henry Davis handles the staff and I can handle that position. But if you're going to say one position you could upgrade, that has to be it.
Yeah.
I've already said Connor Griffin's on the roster.
Right.
So, all right. What's your next one? It's not Rowdy, by the way.
It's not. Yeah. So I'm saying the Pirates will make a crazy late season run and surpass the Brewers for the number 1 wild card position.
For the number 1 wild card position?
Yes.
Ooh. So we're talking.
I think they're sitting in maybe 4 or 3 spot, and then they just go on a run. Yeah, Greg's got it. It was Josh Bell. He did it twice in 1 month in 2019.
Yeah, he did. May 2019. He did it twice, which is nuts, considering it's been here for a long time. And he's the only one with 2, and he did it in the same month. Yeah. Which that was an incredible Josh Bell run in 2019.
Yeah. And and I want somebody to tell me that Cruz can't go on a Josh Bell type run.
Well, he doesn't have the 2019 baseballs, for one.
It's true.
But it's there. The top spot is the part that I think I'm really kind of hung up on. But I love it. I mean, this is wild, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it means some things are happening in the East. As we get into our picks here, we're coming up to our picks here. I'll do my last one. Don Kelly wins Manager of the Year.
I like it.
The Pirates get in the playoffs, which I think this is a wild take, but the Pirates get in the playoffs, which might give away a little bit of what I'm going to say later. But Don Kelly wins Manager of the Year if they get in the playoffs, period.
Yeah.
The question is, will they get into the playoffs? That's what makes that wild.
That'll be 4 straight years the NL Central has the Manager of the Year?
Obviously Murph has been the last 2.
And I think Council before him.
Council before him. So look at that. Hey, Brewers, let's share the love a little bit.
Chill out.
Hey, Stephen Vogt and Pat Murphy, back-to-back years, AL/NL, that ends this year.
Yeah.
That ends. All right, let's go, Jake. Pirates awards, guys. These are all of your typical awards that you're going to have. And then a couple extra thrown in there, but specifically to the Pirates. So we're not saying like which Pirate will become an MVP, but which Pirate will be the Pirates MVP. They don't have to get National League MVP votes. We're just saying specifically for the Pirates, right? So let's do Rookie of the Year first. And I'm just going to spoil this a little bit. We have a lot of the same guys. I'm looking at your list. I'm looking at my list. Rookie of the year, Jake. Go ahead and say it.
Connor Griffin.
I mean, I can't go with anything else after what I just said.
Yeah.
Comeback player of the year.
Ryan Reynolds.
I'm in the same boat. 16 home runs last year, a bad year. We have the track record of Brian Reynolds. We know he's better than that. I don't even know why we entertain thinking that he's going to do that again. If he does, then we change. Now we've got data saying otherwise. But until he does that again, that's there. Greg says Rookie of the Year, Bubba. Love that pick too. It's obviously 1A, 1B. So I totally agree with that. I love it.
That's a fair pick because Bubba's here now.
Yeah, now we're going to go back to one of the takes that were in the chat here. I'll say mine. Pirates Gold Glove. I went with Triolo until someone decides to dethrone him. To be honest with you, I had who you had, and then I was like, we can't seriously be the same all the way through. So I went with Triolo. I thought that was pretty fair. What's your Gold Glove? Pirates Gold Glove.
I think it's Henry Davis. I think he's just that good back there. I think Triolo gets knocked out of a starting spot, so I think that's how he ends up winning it over Triolo.
Love it.
Triolo's a great pick too, though. I mean, if he sticks around, he's going to be right there.
Yep. Silver Slugger. Who do you got?
I got Marcell Ozuna. I think he's just going to be our best all around hitter.
Oh,
he's a
really?
pro's pro. He's going to push the envelope on. He's got his hips better, man.
Yeah.
He looks good. I think he's going to be pushing the upper 200s in the batting average. I think he's going to hit you 30 homers. I think he's just going to be our best overall all-around hitter.
Yeah, I'm just realizing I didn't write this down, but obviously there's some guys to pick from. But I did go a little bit of a different route here, and I thought all-around type stuff, like you're saying. And I think there's some, I don't know, I think that there's some sneaky players that might have an opportunity to do something like that. But I'm going Brian Reynolds again here. I think that with a lineup that he's never had, I think that there just might be enough for him to do some things. And it's not just home run totals, right? I think just the all-around hitter that we've seen from Brian Reynolds early in his career has an opportunity to come back through here and maybe have a couple like really good years.
Yeah.
I think he's a really good hitter. And so we'll see if he proves it to us or not there. Cy Young, this is easy. I have duh written there. I wouldn't even let you write your own thing in there. It's Paul Skeens for Cy Young.
Yeah.
And then obviously MVP. I'm going Paul Skeens for MVP too. I think that when it's all said and done, when we look back at this, okay?
Mm-hmm.
When we look back at this season and we say that all of these acquisitions even were because of Paul Skeens, the fact that they're pushing the envelope was because of Paul Skeens. That's why I nod him the MVP here.
That's fair. I'm going with O'Neal Cruz. I think this is something that is more of a hopeful for me than necessarily I really think he's going to do it. We need this to be true.
Yeah,
I think you know what you're going to get out of Reynolds. You know what you're going to get out of Ozuna. You know what you're going to get out of Brandon Lau.
Yeah,
I think O'Neal Cruz could be the one that's the difference maker in giving us that extra bat that is just a scary bat in the lineup that other teams are afraid to face. And if you have 4 guys in your lineup that teams don't want to face, that's what puts you into that playoff conversation. That's what puts you over the edge, especially with a pitching staff like we have.
Greg says Lau plays 150 plus games, career high 149. That's in Tampa when they do a lot of things differently. But the year that he played 149 games, he had 39 homers. I just think that Brandon Lau's power is really unrealized by a lot of people because of the fact that he hasn't been able to put together those full seasons. Last year, 134, back on track to get there. If he plays 150 games, that's going to be huge for this team.
Yeah.
And I think the same thing about Cruz. If Cruz flops, like some people are telling me Garcia or Mangum will take that job from him. If that happens, I'm afraid this team is not going to make the postseason. Cruz is that critical to their success, I think. I could be wrong about that. Greg says MVP, Marcell Ozuna. Miles gets a vote for Ryan O'Hearn. Martin says, I do think O'Hearn will have his biggest year this year. I like that. I think so too. I think that he's just been figuring it out. And I think now coming onto a team that's believed in him and gone out and got him for a reason like this for a 2-year deal, I think that he's in a really good spot. I really like the Ryan O'Hearn pick here. So, yeah, man, I'm there. We got 2 more here. Breakout player, most surprising player. I'm just going to do mine. I think breakout player. I kind of messed around here with this one because I have 2 guys for both of these. But I've just been kind of thinking this through, right? Breakout player for me, I'm going to go with Brandon Bidwell. I think at some point he comes up and he pitches in some late inning bullpen role that's going to be really good. At some point, June, July, August. I don't care when it is, but I think he's going to break out and people are going to know the name and he's going to be here.
It's fair. My breakout player, I'm going to go back to that MVP.
Yeah.
I think O'Neal Cruz finally puts it all together. I think he plays well on defense. I think he just goes, I mean, the dude put on, like we talked about, he put on 30 pounds. Like, he's more athletic right now than I think he's ever been because it's 30 healthy pounds. Yeah. Like, he's still like thin, but he's stout now. Like, he's thick. He's ready to go. I think it puts his body in the healthiest form it's been in a while. I can see him putting all of it together and just finally breaking out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, which is interesting because, obviously he's a 2020 and a 2030 guy. You know what I mean? But but still maybe not all the way there.
There's just so much. Yeah, there's just so much more potential.
Yeah. Miles says Nick York. I like that too. Man, I really like Nick York, and I think he has an opportunity to do something with that third base spot too. I really do. If those other guys don't make it happen, he's going to come in and take it. Yeah. I like that pick too. Then for me, the next thing is most surprising player. And I think I'm going to go to, again, I had 2 guys here. I was between Ashcraft and Majinski, but I think it's going to be more surprising locally to see Majinski. I think he's going to be surprising. I think he's going to be able to handle a starting rotation spot at least for a while.
Yeah.
I don't know how long. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how deep he goes into games, but I think his pitch mix right now, I just really like what I've seen. And I think as he learns that a little bit more through the season, I think we're going to be surprised that Carmen Majinski, as much as we've talked on this show basically forever, we've always said, I want him in my bullpen. But I think this year's the first year I'm like, you know what? I think I'm okay with him as a starter. I like what I'm seeing, man.
I like it. I have most surprising is going to be Henry Davis because I'm on board with him hitting this year. I think it's starting to click even in spring training as of the last week.
I mean, Greg Brown said that home run he hit today might have changed the trajectory of his career.
Okay.
That might be a little much. A little heavy-handed, Sarah.
But I'm saying I still think he's going to surprise. I think a lot of people just are kind of already 1 foot out the door with him. And I just think he's going to take that step forward and surprise a lot of people. I think he's going to be just fine handling the bat. Not saying he's going to be, freaking Babe Ruth or anything. I think he's going to be an adequate bat, and that's going to surprise people.
Again, league average, and he's great.
Yeah.
One more question here from Martin. Will Cruz lead Will Cruz lead the league in stolen bases again this year?
Again, yeah.
Again.
I'm here for it, and that's to count that in his MVP votes.
I don't think he does. I just think that there's somebody else that comes up and steals more bases.
Fair.
Maybe on this team.
On our team? Or?
Maybe. But I think there's a lot of guys who can steal bases, and there's some guys that are going to be really fun to watch this year. And if Cruz sits around 35 or even 40 steals, I think there's a potential of somebody with the 45 or 50 number beside him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's just always a potential.
I didn't even think stolen bases route, but I think it'd be interesting to see what Mangum's total is at the end of the year because I think he's going to get some pinch hit pinch run opportunities too, and he might be put in there to take second, get in the scoring position for us.
Yeah, I don't know about
Hearn's on first. Go get second for us, and then you're going to the outfield.
Right, that's true. Polar Berry White says if Triolo hits for 750 OPS, he'll surprise everyone but me. And then Greg responds with, if Triolo hits over 160, I'll be shocked. I think he'll hit over 160. I think he's somewhere in between those two, maybe, but
I think he'll stay over 200.
Yeah, I got some thunder here. Mason Martin either breaks out or fizzles out, Martin says.
Okay.
And 5 players go into the All-Star game. Skeens, Cruz, O'Hearn, Griffin, Santana. I like that.
It's a good group.
I'll be honest with you, though. Like, I could see Ashcraft in there.
See Brandon Lau in there.
I could see Brandon Lau in there, maybe. Yeah. At second base, there's pretty good chance if he's hitting the homers. Has to be Reynolds.
I don't think
we've called for a big first
people,
half from Reynolds. No. But
yeah,
those are guys who have a chance. All right, let's go through our division winners. We'll go quick until we get to ours. And again, Jake, ours look pretty similar.
I filled mine out first.
You did fill out yours first. I mean, I had mine filled out somewhere else, and I copied him over. When I copied him over, I was like, "Dang it, Bobby!" So, you know what I mean. We gotta.
Dang it, Bobby.
AL East, Red Sox. AL West, Mariners. AL Central, Tigers. Now, the AL East is the most interesting of those races, I'll say.
Yeah.
Wild card, I have Yankees, Blue Jays, and I'm torn between Royals and Orioles. Do I have to pick one right now, or can I just say I'm torn between those two teams?
Nah, pick one.
I got to pick one? Well, you have the Royals, so I'll go Orioles just to be different. I'll
Yankees,
sacrifice
Royals,
that.
Blue Jays. And then I didn't put them in order. I just
you
threw them
didn't?
in there.
Okay. I have them in order. Of course, I have win totals there. I think the Red Sox are at 95, Yankees 94, Blue Jays 91, and I have the Orioles and the Royals both at 85. And so, like, that's kind of where I'm sitting with them. Mariners 95 wins. Now, I'm obviously, like, I try to think of like a middle ground. I think that those teams could just take off and do something different. Tigers, I have at 90 wins. I think that's pretty aggressive, but I don't like that division. National League, I have the Phillies in the East.
Same.
I have the Dodgers in the West.
Same.
And now we get to the Central. And I'll just say I have the Phillies at 94 wins, and I have the Dodgers at 101. And I think that's important because you have to start thinking when you're talking about the wild card and where those win totals are going to be and whether or not here. So, guys, in the chat right now, everybody in the chat, let me know who you think is winning the National League Central. And then I'll take an opportunity here to say, because, it's going to be delayed, but I'll take an opportunity here to say, we're going to do the Central. Do you have win totals?
I didn't go that
far. Okay. So I have win totals for everybody here. We're going to do that. We're gonna do that. Then we're gonna go into our Pirates win totals, like specifically Pirates win totals, and then kind of back up what we think. I will to spoil a little bit here. This is probably the closest we've been.
Yeah,
me and you. Man, we got some thunder here. And then we're gonna close out after that. This is kind of where we're gonna be here. We're going to close out.
This is where Josh loses power.
This is where I lose power. Right before we make our picks. Let's let the drama just sit here, right? I'm just kidding. All right, so let's see what we got here. First off, Greg says this is the most excited I've been at the beginning of a season in a very long time. I think that's true for most of us. Right? Even if we're a little bit tampered down, some of us, I think we still would admit this is the best roster they've had in a very long time.
Yeah.
We said a lot last year. If they could just be league average on offense, this could be a dangerous team. I think they've got league average in them.
Yeah.
All right, let's see what some of the picks are. First off, Yankees, Mariners, Royals. I like the Royals pick over the Tigers. I couldn't get there myself.
I had it there, and I went back on it.
Yeah. So then the Tigers wild card, Orioles wild cards still there. Mets, Dodgers, Cubs. So we got a Cubs pick there.
We got a Mets pick there.
A Mets pick there. I mean, that's what a lot of them have. I mean, I think Fangraphs has the Mets up there. So Seth's got the Brewers for the Central, Cubs from Greg, and Miles actually has Pirates, Diamondbacks in a wild card. Greg's going Brewers, other Greg. We got two Gregs here. Cheryl's going Cubs. Shared's going Cubs. Doug's going Brewers first, Pirates second. He's got 86 wins on it. Martin says it's time for the Brewers to have a bad year. Cubs and Pirates should fight it out to win the division. We're optimistic here. Cubs, Bucks, Brewers, Reds, Cards. That's pretty close there. Miles says his number's 84. He's going optimistic with his prediction, saying 85. Brewers, Cubs, Pirates. Oh, Pirates and Cubs make the wild card. Okay. I don't think the Mets are all that good. All right, Jake, let's do it. Who do you have winning the division?
I got the Cubs winning the division.
I have the Cubs as well. I have them at 91 wins, winning the division with 91. So, yeah. Who do you have in? What do you want to do? Cardinals last. Can we agree on that?
Cardinals last. Yep.
All right. Now, I think it's a toss-up at this point where you're going to go. So why don't you go through yours and go ahead and throw a little justification out there, and then I'll go through mine.
Sure. I got the Cubs, the Pirates, the Brewers, the Reds, the Cardinals. I have to put this because I am saying that the Pirates are going to make a late season push and jump the Brewers for that number one spot. I have on my win total for the Pirates.
No, wait, you don't have to go there. You don't have to go there yet. We'll wait till I throw mine out there.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Sure.
Okay. Well, just because that's the last, you know what I mean? We gotta save that. You do have him in second place, though. Yeah. And I think there is a conversation there. I have the Brewers in second. 97 wins last year. They did lose some players, but I do have the Brewers in second. I have the Pirates in third. I have the Reds in fourth, and then I have the Cardinals. So now I'll say I have the Brewers at 89 wins in second place. This is where you and I are going to differ. Let's go ahead and give them your Pirates win total, and that'll help us have this conversation.
So I have them on here. When I wrote this down, I have them at 85 and 77. However, I'm going to tweak it by 2 wins. I'm going to go 87 and 75.
Okay.
Because I put that late in it, or that late season, and then I forgot to update this. But I think that the Pirates we play the Brewers in the last 2 months. We play them 6 times. We play them at home, I believe, in August. We play them in Milwaukee in September. And I think that September 3 games, we come away. We're historically bad in Milwaukee. But I think we go to Milwaukee and we just sweep them. And we take over that first spot. And I think that we end up with 87 wins. I think the Brewers end up with like 80, 86, 85, somewhere in that. Like, it's close.
Yeah. All right.
I think the whole division's going to be close.
I do too. And I think that's probably worth saying because we both have the Reds in fourth place.
And I think they get to 82 wins.
I mean, I'll say right now, I told you I have the Brewers at 89. I have the Pirates this year at 84 and 78. Now, I do these kind of predictions with a swing, right? They could get hot and they could get up to that 87 and I wouldn't be surprised. They also could get cold and go on a bad streak or face some injuries and end up down closer to 81 and 81. You know what I'm saying? So but I think that there's enough there. I've got them at 84 and 78, and I have the Reds with the same exact record. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I have them in fourth, but like the Reds and the Pirates are very similar right now. Very good rotations, young, homegrown rotations, and then a lineup of young players. The Pirates did more this offseason, but they had more ground to cover. The Reds won 83 games last year with mostly the same lineup except Gino and a couple other guys, which I think I might like some of those guys last year's version better than some of the guys they have in the outfield, but Gino's a big pool. So I'm just saying, like, I think that these teams are very similar. The Reds did not get worse, in my opinion. If they had 83 games and they didn't get worse, Hunter Green's a big, like, that's going to hurt, but they have the depth to handle that. Not at Hunter Green's level, but like,
right.
I like their staff. And so I think they have enough to cover him until the All-Star break. And then when he comes back and that team gets energized, and if they make a move at the deadline for whatever's not working for them, I just see them doing the same sort of things that the Pirates do. And I literally have them both at the same wins. I'm a Pirates fan, so I have them edging out that.
Yeah, right. I think the Reds could make a big swing if they just get LA off short. He's not good.
I don't know, man. I hear you. He does all the things.
Outfield.
He does all the things. Like, he makes errors, but he does all the other things. Errors.
Makes a ton of errors.
Well, league leading. Oh, here we go. Hammering the over on the Reds at 82, Jeff. Hey, I'm glad you're in here to do that. Somebody's got to stand up for him. Listen, I really do think that the National League Central is like, it's slept on a lot.
Yeah.
And I know the
Reds roster. I think they're good.
I think the Brewers at 97 wins last year helps this out, but like, only the AL East was better as far as win totals last year than the NL Central. It is not the worst division. I think it's actually the most competitive division in the National League, because I don't think the bottom is going to be, the Rockies are going to be 20 wins below, maybe not 20, 15 wins below what the Cardinals are going to end up with. Yeah. And the Nationals might be close.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a harder division as far as competitiveness. You might top out on the coast. Like, the Dodgers are going to have more wins. The Phillies are going to have more wins than the winner of this division, even though that didn't happen last year. But I think the Brewers will take a slide. But I really think that, like, there's a lot to like about every team here. And there are question marks about every team here.
Yep.
That's why I think it's a tough one. Jeff says McLean had an awful 25. Expect him. That's a big thing when you have a guy like that.
Yeah.
When you have a guy like that who's supposed to be better. Now, you're going to know McLean has to answer a lot of questions this year. This is kind of like a really important year for him.
Yeah.
And if he shows up and he plays well, like, imagine the difference that makes, because we say the same thing about Brian Reynolds, except with a track record. But it's the same thing. Like, if you have a really bad year like that and you come back and do it, you know what I'm saying? It's a big difference. Top to bottom, great division. I mean, I really think so. So let's do our, so we're saying exciting baseball. Yes. 100%, Doug. We're saying exciting baseball.
All year.
What's your wild card picks then? Because it's gonna look different, and I'm really interested. I mean, I think this is cutthroat.
What'd you say?
I think it's cutthroat. Your wild cards. Now that we have our win totals.
Wild cards.
Now that we have our win totals, are the Pirates getting in the playoffs or not, Jake?
Yes, I got Pirates in the 1 spot. Obviously, I think I've said that earlier. I have the Brewers in the 2 spot, and I keep bouncing back and forth between the last spot. I made you pick in the American League. I have Mets written down, but I'm going Braves because the Mets are going to Met it.
Okay.
I have a hard time picking the Mets making the playoffs ever.
Yeah, this is where I fall into this. Like, you have the Pirates at 87 wins, you're taking the top spot. Where I have win totals, even if they're at 87, they're not in the postseason, because I have the Mets at 90 wins. I have the Brewers at 89, and I have the Braves at 88. I guess in your situation, the Brewers you have lower. So, but I still have Mets and Braves in a much. The Braves are not going to repeat that. I know the pitching staff's bad, but the first 6 guys of that lineup is hard to beat.
Yeah, Austin Riley looks really good right now.
So, yeah, I'm here for it. Now, what I'll say with this is, I think that the Pirates, I think that the Reds, and I think that the Giants are 3 teams who. Let's talk about Cleveland last year, Jake. They went on a run at the end of the year.
Yeah.
And they ended up with 88 wins. And I don't think anybody would have picked them to get 88 wins. But they went on a run, because that can happen in baseball. They went on a big run. They got to 88 and they got in. Now, for them, it was the division. But for us, that would be a wild card spot maybe. But like, or the Cubs could fall apart like the Tigers did. Like any of that can happen.
Yeah.
And I do think that any of those teams, like I said, that I don't have in, I think the Pirates, the Reds, and the Giants are teams that are just primed to all of a sudden click, turn it on, and force their way into this.
Yeah.
And the Braves with their pitching staff could just not, you know what I mean? There's too many injuries.
Yeah. For the sake of my household, I'll go with the Braves.
That's totally fair. Totally fair.
I could also, honestly, in the National League Central, I could also easily see the Brewers and Cubs flip-flopping from my predictions.
Dude, the Brewers just figure it out.
The Brewers always just somehow find a way to do it. And I think that Bregman is not a replacement for Kyle Tucker. And I think the pitching staff in Chicago is a little overrated.
Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of it is. I mean, anytime you're talking about a big city like that, there's some overrating happening. That's, you know what I'm saying? Like that just happens a lot.
I don't want to speak ill of the guy, but I think Jameson Taillon is a shell of what he used to be. I don't think he's as good anymore.
Still like JMO.
Love him. Love JMO. I'm not trying to speak bad about him. He's just not who he used to be.
Well, they got him at number 5.
Yeah. But you got Imanaga, who you're really down on. I still think he's a fine pitcher.
He's a good pitcher.
I don't think he's like a 1 or 2.
If their defense wasn't very good, I mean, the home runs that he's given up is just way too frequent. And you know what I mean?
Yeah. There's just a lot of question marks I have.
Edward Cabrera, you're questioning the health.
You're questioning the health, but if he's on the field, he's a stud.
Yeah, but Matthew Boyd and Cade Horton, too, are good pitchers. So Boyd's a question mark.
Boyd's up and down. He has good years, bad years.
Right.
So, I don't know.
But we seen what Daniel Palencia can do, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
So, Daniel Palencia is a dog in the back.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Plus their depth. I mean, with Matt Shaw still hanging around there and them not trading him, they do have some depth options depending on who's there.
Yeah.
But you know what? They've got 2 left-handed hitters. No, 3 if with Ballesteros. So they're pretty heavy right-handed, and our pitching staff is all right-handed. So you got that. Greg says Cabrera can't stay healthy. Imanaga's a bust. Horton pretty good. Steele not healthy. That's the other thing is, are they getting Steele back at all? Because if they get Justin Steele back at some point this season, which I think they will, that might be a big pickup for them. Because that's really their guy.
Yeah, he's good. He's real good.
So, yeah, man, I think it's going to be a fun year, and the Pirates just need to go on a run. What is Don Kelly going to do to change the course of this? You've got a roster on paper that's good enough for most outlets to put you somewhere between 83 and 86 wins I've seen. I've seen the Pirates listed at second, winning, getting a wild card spot. I've seen them in 4th. I've seen the Reds bounce all around, which I still don't understand. Like, I think the Reds are just so different in people's eyes. Like, some people are super high, some people are super low. It's got to be somewhere in the middle there. They didn't get worse. They had 83 wins last year. I can't get over that part.
Yeah.
They didn't get worse.
Yeah.
And obviously the Brewers lost some players, but they had 97 wins. They have some wiggle room.
I also look at it too. Like, I don't think you have to get worse to lose 2 less games. It's 2 games. You know what I mean? I think you're still about the same team if you're within a couple wins.
Sure. Yeah. Anything can swing one way or the other.
Yeah.
Seth says he's changing his mind. Pirates win the division. Jared Jones coming back. He's just getting pumped up. You know what I'm saying?
I love it.
Miles says a mild take. Pirates don't have a streak longer than 8 in either direction.
It's good. I like it.
So, yeah. There's a lot, man. Opening day coming up this week. This stinking week. Paul Skeens, Freddie Peralta, it's Thursday night. Saturday, they have Friday off. Saturday is Keller and David Peterson in New York. And then Sunday is Majinski, Nola McLean. Obviously, road series. Let's not get too crazy. You have 6 games swing on the road. If you go 3-3 coming back home, you're still in a good spot. And I know that's going to feel like, same old Pirates. But either way, you got to find a way to do that. Well, 4-2 would be fantastic.
I like us coming home 4-2. That's my early prediction.
Yep. Well, Martin's got us sweeping the Mets, so good position to go 4-2 for sure.
Yeah.
You're right. It's not Thursday night. Literally, geez, just my guy, right? Just hanging out here saying like, hey man, you said Thursday night.
Not one of the smart ones, right?
I literally could share my screen right now. It's written right in front of me. It kicks off Thursday afternoon in New York. Yeah. All of them are afternoon games. 1 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 1 o'clock. Thursday, Saturday, Sunday. So we're not even playing at night until we go to Cincinnati, in which I'm going to try to be there that Monday night in Cincinnati. Try to get down there for, that'd be Ashcraft's start. We've got Ashcraft, Bubba, Skeens going against Cincinnati. Love that too. And you know what, guys, listen, if you're anywhere that you feel like, if you don't want to go all the way to Cincinnati, but maybe you're willing to go to Columbus, Indianapolis is going to be in Columbus starting Thursday the 31st, all week, clear through Sunday. So obviously I'm going to the home opener in Pittsburgh, but other than that, I might find myself in Columbus every night of the week. We just don't know. Yeah. Connor Griffin's going to be there. We just don't know. But if anybody's going to go to a game in Columbus, let me know. If you've made it this far in the episode, that is. But everybody here live, if you're going to be in Columbus, let me know. I want to go to every game. So hit me up if you're going. We'll stand and chat. We'll do whatever. But Miles says, if you're keeping track, Josh, I had the same takes as you if I didn't mention. So there you go. Yes, Ashcraft is 4. Yes, they are going. 5. They are going Skeens, Keller, Majinski, Ashcraft, Bubba for the rotation. That Don Kelly said that today, which like I said, I love it because then you're going to Cincinnati. We just talked about the fact that like Cincinnati is also a good team, and you're going to Cincinnati with Ashcraft, Bubba, Skeens.
Yeah,
like you want to put your best foot forward there for that in division matchup. So I absolutely love what they're doing there. I'll take Majinski in New York in that case. And then, so that means you'll have Keller, Majinski, Ashcraft for the first home series against the Orioles. So I'll take that as well. Man, Ashcraft is going to turn some heads around the league this year. People don't know that name yet. They know Bubba because the prospect, name. Yeah. But they don't know Ashcraft. And I'm telling you, this guy.
Write it down, learn it.
I mean, I've heard a couple people say this is the number 2, not Bubba. So never know.
Never know.
Man, this pitching staff. Anthony Castrovins, MLB.com, listed them as the number 6 overall. That's including the bullpen, number 6 overall pitching staff in baseball this year.
We have a few in the bullpen that could be strengthened up. For sure.
Yeah. Well, but I'm not complaining about being number 6.
No, I'm not either. I'm just saying.
All right. I appreciate it all the time, guys. We're planning to do some more exciting things soon. Stick with us. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you hit that bell for the notifications to see some things coming out. I think I can go ahead and say my plan so far, not this week, but starting next week, my plan is to do Wednesdays and Friday mornings for the shows, not quite daily this year. But we're going to do Wednesday mornings, Friday mornings for the shorter length shows just to kind of keep things moving. And we're going to continue to do the Sunday night live streams just like we've always done. And then we'll see if we add anything else to it. I mean, if the Pirates are going good and we want to do more, we reserve the right to change that schedule.
Sure.
We'll see how it works.
Take a little bit of time this week. Share us with some of your friends.
Absolutely.
Get them subs up.
Absolutely. Let's get them subs up. Let's get some attention here. This is going to be a fun one, man. Let's get some more people rooting on them Buccos.
Yep.
All right. This was a fun one. This is always like a kind of a high stress show. To come up with all this stuff.
More prep day.
More prep than Jake's does in the rest of the year, probably. Is that fair?
That's probably fair.
That's probably fair.
There's probably a few here and there, but
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. All right, guys. Thanks. We'll see you next week. Let's go, Bucks.
Let's go, Pirates!
Thanks for listening to my dad and Uncle Jake on the Bridge to Buctober podcast. Follow them on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Bridge2Buctober. Don't forget to subscribe so you know when new episodes are released. Clear the deck, cannonball coming, and let's go Bucks!